Good morning, fine folks of Wellness 365. How are you doing? I'll give it a minute just to let everybody join in. This is going to be day one, talking about how our moods affect our health. I'm putting my jewelry on as we go here. All right. So I'm going to be posting all of these tips at the end of the week so that if you missed anything, you can, of course, go back and watch the videos, or you can read the tips at the end of the week. That would be perfectly okay also. So I want to start out by saying welcome to Wellness 365. This is my little community here, so I can talk to you, and you can talk to me, more importantly, about struggles you're having, issues, celebrate your successes, things of that nature. So it's not just about me posting in this group, it's about you sharing and offering suggestions, support to each other, and asking for topics you want to see discussed. So for those of you, a little bit about me. I am a licensed clinical counselor in the state of Ohio. I've been working in the social service field for 20 plus years. That's a long time. Helping people, primarily those individuals who have been released from prison. And I'm striking out on my own the last several years, focusing in on helping people, not just in recovery from addictions and mental health issues, but also in talking to them about their health and how their health can play a huge role in all those other areas. So that's a little bit about me. I want to talk to you today about sleep. Now, I know sleep is pretty standard, right? You know that you're supposed to get, 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, blah, blah, blah. We know those things, but what we don't know is how much that the sleep or lack of sleep affects our moods and affects our health. So it's kind of like a chain of events. It's just lost the word I was looking for. Cause and effect, right? So I'm going to look at my notes, so if you see me looking off the screen, it's because of that. But so here's the thing. Our sleep is regulated through this complex series of interactions that are happening in the brain, right? So neurotransmitters, the circadian process, it all has to do with norepinephrine, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, GABA waves, and acetylcholine. Wow. That's like a bunch of stuff. Well, all you need to know is that it's happening up there, and all these things are firing and connecting and talking to each other so that we can sleep, that our brain has time to kind of decompress, our brain has time to process all those things that are going on throughout the day. Now, the circadian rhythm, you know that is the process, stage 1 through 5 of our sleep pattern. So what is the most important stage of sleep? Anybody know? REM sleep, right? Rapid eye movement. That is the deepest stage of sleep, and that's where all of that healing and stuff goes on. But we don't stay in REM sleep. If you remember back to your biology class back in middle school, you'll notice that our sleep cycles, that we go up and down throughout the night. So we cycle through this process, that's the circadian rhythm of sleep. So we have light sleep, we have heavy sleep, deep sleep, which is that REM, and then everything in between. We need all of those stages of sleep to help heal our body, restore our body's energy, focus in on the neurotransmitters, the pathways that are being developed from the things that you learned that day. So the other part of REM sleep is that it's so important because that's where we dream. So I know that I don't often wake up and remember all of my dreams, but some people do, and I guess they're lucky. unless they're a nightmare. I really wouldn't want to remember those. But the thing is, sleep is where we are healing our mental processes. This is where we sort through life. REM sleep is where we really focus in on and sort through life. So our dreams are our way of our brain kind of sorting through all the information, all the experiences that we got throughout that day. It helps us sort through problems and solve problems. Do you ever wake up one morning and you're like, I know exactly what to do? Well, that's because you were in REM sleep and you gave your body the ability to slow down and figure out what was going on. So what happens what disturbs our sleep? What are some of the things that you've noticed that disturb our sleep? Well, the most important thing is, and I'm guilty of this, is we get on stimulating recreational activities. So video games, our iPhone games. I'm a big one for word games on my phone. Checking social media, all those things, watching TV, all of those things actually stimulate the brain. It does not help us fall asleep. So if we engage in those things late at night when it's time for bed, we're actually stimulating our brain instead of helping it fall asleep. Foods that are high in tryptophan and tyrosine. Well, what are those? Well, stick around because I'm going to talk a little bit more about foods and how it affects our moods on Thursday. But those two categories, tryptophan and tyrosine, those are the two main factors that cause disturbances in our sleep. Two main categories. The other thing is substances, right? So I'm talking alcohol, I'm talking caffeine, I'm talking about THC for those of you that live in states where that's legal, or if you live in a state where it's not legal, and gluten. Gluten, I'm categorizing as a substance, not as a food, because, and I'll just throw this out here, but I could talk a little bit more about it on Thursday, is gluten is an addictive substance. It has opiate-inducing activity in our brain just as heroin, just as cocaine does. And so those substances that are addictive actually stimulate the brain and cause problems in our sleep systems. So the less sleep we get, the more difficult it is basically to deal with life, right? When sleeplessness or disturbed sleep becomes a pattern, that can expose us to higher risk of anxiety, depression, mood swings, irritability, those kinds of things. So research shows that if we have a pattern of loss of sleep or sleep disturbances, it actually affects the amygdala in our brain. Now, I know I'm going way back in science here in middle school biology with all of these things, but when we're talking about our amygdala, the amygdala is deep down inside of our brain. If you picture the side of a brain, it's right there in the middle by the brainstem, the base. And that controls our moods. That is huge part of fight or flight. That is a huge part of our basins, which includes hostility and anger and emotional regulation. So if we're getting sleep disturbances, we're not sleeping well because of what we're eating, what we're doing, the substances we're ingesting, then what's going to happen is it affects our amygdala, and we have poorer ability. We have a decreased ability to control our anger and our hostility. So we're going to be more prone to act out, to lash out at people. We're going to have a lower tolerance. We're going to have higher irritability. We're going to be frustrated by little things. Here's the other thing. Research shows us that a loss of sleep has a negative effect on our ability to enjoy positive things. So not only are we going to be more irritable, but we're going to not enjoy the pleasant things in our life. So sleep is so important to our moods. So what can you do about this? Well, we know that we have to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. You've got to cut out those trigger foods when it's getting close to bedtime. And I'll talk about those on Thursday, so stay tuned on that one. And then, of course, cut out those stimulating social media, games, those recreational activities. But if you're going to do it, at least wear blue light blocking glasses. And my pair is over there by the bedside because I used them last night. At least use blue light blocking glasses because that will help alleviate that blue light that stimulates the brain to think that it needs to stay awake. Excuse me. So did any of that hit close to home for you? Did you struggle with any of those things? I know I do, right? Any of these things can disturb our sleep. Have you tried to change any of these behaviors and they stuck for a while, but then they didn't last? Well, are you dependent upon sleep aids or even waking aids? I mean, like coffee or 5-hour energy or anything of that nature, stimulating caffeine pills? Well, if that sounds like you, I can help. I can help you get a good night's sleep. I can help you control your moods, which will affect your health overall. Because if we lose sleep, we're more irritable, we have less motivation and willpower to control our eating choices, which can lead to inactivity, which can lead to obesity, which can lead to all these other health issues, diabetes, GERD, hypertension, heart disease, all these other areas of issues. So if any of this sounds like you and you need help sticking to and sustaining these behavioral changes, I can help you. You got to check out my Wellness 365 program because I can help you learn how to improve your sleep and sustain it. So you need this. I'm talking to you. You need this. You need that help. So check it out, totalwellness365.com, and I'll see you here tomorrow. Bye.